The Bank of Ghana has said it is working to phase out the 1 Ghana cedi and the 2 Ghana cedi notes from circulation. The governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, said on Monday that the notes will ultimately be replaced by their coin versions, which were currently co-circulating. He said the decision was needed to improve the bank's cost of currency management. Dr. Addison told journalists on Monday that the central bank had realized that it was not cost-effective to keep the 2 sets of notes in circulation as they mostly returned dirty and worn out, requiring frequent replacements. He was responding to a question on why the 2 cedi note was in short supply in some parts of the country during the bank's Monetary Policy Committee press conference. The Bank of Ghana, which is the bank to the government, regulates the printing and circulation of currency in the country. The current 2 cedi note was introduced in April 2010 as a commemorative note to mark the centenary celebrations of the birth of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the country's first president. Meanwhile, the Bank of Ghana has maintained its key policy rate at 13.5% as a cautious measure against rising inflationary pressures. The governor of the bank, Ernest Addison, said the bank was also ready to respond appropriately should risks to inflation materialize. It is now the 3rd time in a row that the central bank had left the benchmark rate unchanged. It was last reduced in May by 50 basis points. Dr. Ernest Addison said inflation has risen sharply over the last 2 readings, driven mainly by sustained food price increases. Although food inflation has pushed overall inflation close to the upper limit of the band, core inflation remains relatively subdued.
Inflation has risen sharply over the last 2 readings, driven mainly by sustained food price increases. Although food inflation has pushed overall inflation close to the upper limit of the band, core inflation remains relatively subdued. In the view of the committee, the increase in inflation is mainly due to food inflation, which is expected to abate with the onset of the harvest season. This notwithstanding, the latest forecasts indicate that inflation will remain within the medium target band, but closer to the upper limit in the near term, in the absence of further unexpected shocks. A close monitoring of the inflation situation is, however, warranted to respond swiftly to prevent potential second-round effects on headline inflation from the rising food inflation.
Dr. Addison also mentioned the lag in fiscal consolidation, a burgeoning debt, and sluggish recovery as some of the issues that were of concern to the committee.
This data suggests that fiscal consolidation efforts appear to be on track, but with some inherent risks associated with wage settlements and energy sector payments amid low revenue mobilization. In addition, debt sustainability concerns remain, which warrants additional fiscal consolidation efforts, carefully balanced with sustainable growth strategies and efficient debt management strategies. The expectation on fiscal policy implementation in the remaining months of the year will be shaped by revenue collection efforts and strict alignment of expenditures with revenue inflows to ensure the attainment of the fiscal deficit target for the year.
The 3-member committee set up by the government to investigate recent disturbances that led to the deaths in Ejura Ashanti region has recommended the immediate transfer of the Ejura District Police Commander. It also recommended the structural expansion of the Ejura Police Station, as well as an increase in personnel to enable the command deal with such situations better in the future. The 55-page report said Deputy Superintendent of Police Philip Kojo-Hammond should be transferred for incompetence and the fact that his relationship with the community had been damaged beyond repair. The committee recommended the immediate transfer of the District Police Commander of Ejura, DSP Philip Kojo-Hammond, first for his incompetence in handling the situation and for the fact that his relationship with the community seems to have been damaged beyond repair. This is one of the 10 recommendations made by the committee in its final report presented to the Ministry of Interior, which was published by the ministry on Monday. The committee also recommended the payment of adequate compensation to the families of the 2 deceased persons, Abdul Nasir Yusuf and Mutala Siraj Ejura Mohammed. It said adequate compensation must also be paid to other injured persons: Louise Ayikpa, 20, Awal Misbo, 16, and Nasif Nuhu, 30. The committee also called for the removal of the Ejura State Chudumasi Municipal Chief Executive, Mr. Mohammed Salisu Bamba. Others include the need for military establishment to review the actions of the section on the ground led by Lieutenant Martin Opoku-Edusei for the inappropriate use of force and apply appropriate sanctions, training of RIGSEC, MUSEC and DISEC officials in the Shanti region in conflict and crisis management at the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College at least once a year. It also called for the development of a Joint Standard Operative Procedure (SOP) for military or police operations, including roles for indispensable allied agencies like the National Investigations Bureau, NADMO, Ghana National Fire Service and National Ambulance Service. The rest of the recommendations include the National Commission for Civic Education should intensify its public education in relation to the rights, obligations and civic responsibilities of the people of Ejura. The committee said all crowd or riot control units be made to wear body cams and all vehicles and mobile gadgets employed must also have cameras. It also called for the establishment of sports and other recreational facilities in Ejura under the Zongo Development Fund to rechannel the energies of the youth. In July 2021, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo asked the Ministry of Interior to initiate a public inquiry following the killing of 2 persons and injuries to 4 others by soldiers during a protest against the death of Ibrahim Mohammed, popularly known as Kaka Macho, a social media activist. Kaka died on Monday, June 28, 2021, after he was allegedly attacked by an unknown assailant while returning home from an event.
The government is in the process of acquiring a bigger aircraft for presidential travels. Mr. Eugene Ahin, the Director of Communications at the Presidency, has disclosed. Mr. Eugene Ahin disclosed this when he answered a question during a press briefing at the Jubilee House on Monday on whether the government intended buying a bigger aircraft to accommodate the president and his entourage on official foreign trips, as the current presidential jet had proven inadequate for the purpose. The president's foreign travels have generated discussions in the media lately, with the opposition National Democratic Congress (NDC) asking why the president has to fly in hired private aircrafts when the country owned a functional presidential jet. Former President John Ejekun Kufuor, before leaving office in 2008, made provisions for the procurement of 2 aircrafts for the Ghana Air Force, which included a larger jet for use by the president and his delegation on state travels. But the deal was, however, abrogated by the Mills administration. Mr. Ahin explained that the move to get a bigger fit-for-purpose aircraft was part of a cost-saving measure on the travels of the president and other key state functionaries. Mr. Ahin did not give specifics of the aircraft deal, but said the defense minister will shed more light on the development at the appropriate time.
When the government of President John Ejekun Kufuor left office in 2008, it had procured 2 jets, the current Falcon, and then a bigger Embraer, if I'm not mistaken. And for one reason or another, the bigger jet was cancelled, and we were left with this particular one here. I don't know what I mean. Obviously, it would have made much more economic sense to keep the bigger one, because obviously when that happens, when you're traveling with your delegation, and as you know, you don't have to send media people ahead of time. All of you can just go at a go. Saves cost and everything. But well, it has happened, and you collect that the Minister for Defense has made it clear that government has decided to buy a bigger jet to save us from all these troubles. I wouldn't want to go into details. I'm sure when the Minister for Defense has the opportunity to give further information as to what government is doing with respect to that, I'm sure he'll do that. But I know for a fact that, yes, as he has rightly indicated, government is already in the process of acquiring a bigger jet for use. Yeah.
touching on the issues arising from the appointment of metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives, Mr. Ahin dismissed the allegation that some of the MMDCEs nominated by the president were not originally shortlisted for those positions. He said the claim by some civil society organizations that about 44% of the MMDCEs were not recommended by the three-member committee that vetted their nominations and 10% of the nominees did not apply for the positions was false.
Let's make it clear. The Constitution makes it very clear that the executive authority resides only in the president. He's the only one who has the power to hire and fire his appointees. He's the only one. The reports that was submitted to him by the Damboche-led committee, if I should use these words, were only, let's say, mere guidelines to him as to what was pertaining in those particular districts or municipalities or in the metropolitan areas. He's the one who decides. They are his appointees. So he's not first and foremost bound by the comments or by the report of or by the recommendations of any report that's submitted to him. He's not bound by those recommendations at all. He decides what he has to do. So the civil society organization basing its analysis on that report first and foremost is flawed, because, as I said, that report was not the report that was submitted to the president. And secondly, the president is the only one who has the power to hire and fire, and he can decide who he places where. I mean, appointments are at his pleasure. We all serve at his pleasure. So that'll be my answer to that. And with respect to the agitations, yes, I mean, it's to be expected. It's a human institution. You don't expect everything you put out there to be accepted hook, line and sinker.
The Director of Communications at the Presidency also disclosed that the President was satisfied with efforts to get the 6 newly created regions operationally up and running.
Elijah, I think, let me say, the President is, because I've been with him on these tours and you hear the sentiments he expresses, I think he's extremely delighted as to what is taking place in the new regions. When he presented the instruments establishing the new regions here at the forecourt of the Jubilee House, he made it clear that one thing he wanted to do was to move away from the practice whereby you have the various regional headquarters of the various agencies located or situated in the regional capitals. He said he was going to move away from that because he believes that's a much faster way of bringing development to the people, and as well as spreading services all around the new regions. In Western North region, one town is host to the Department of Feeder Roads. The health service headquarters is in another town, and he's done that throughout the 6 newly created regions, and he believes it's a faster way of bringing development closer to the people. So yes, he's extremely satisfied with what's going on right now.
Mr. Ahin also indicated that President Akufo-Addo had begun a process to assess the work program of his ministers for the rest of 2021. He explained that the consultative meeting with the ministers would ensure they were in tune with the president's agenda for his second term in government. Mr. Ahin also said the president was scheduled to embark on a week's tour of the Eastern and Ashanti regions commencing Friday, October 1st this year. The Member of Parliament for the Fantiakwa South constituency, Honorable Kofi Ochre-Ejekum, popularly known as Arafat, has entreated non-governmental and non-profit organizations in Ghana not to involve or engage their organizations into partisan politics. Honorable Kofi Ochre-Ejekum was speaking during the official launch of Extra Large Trust Aid, an NGO which aims to help the poor and needy at Abompe in the Fantiakwa South district in the Eastern region. The occasion saw the mother body of XL Trust Aid, known as XL Plus, donate 50 school uniforms, exercise books, and stationery to schools and pupils within the district to improve effective teaching and learning. The event was graced by the chiefs and people of Abompe, Jenase Japomani, Hemain, Dome, and Osino, among other communities. In his address at the event, the Fantiakwa Member of Parliament indicated that the core mandate of every NGO is to assist the poor and needy in various communities to better their lives and not to amass wealth for themselves. He said vesting these institutions rather than the local government with decision-making powers, the participatory development model purports to get around the problem of political favoritism and ensure that aid is distributed fairly. The MP also took the opportunity to assure the NGO and the beneficiary communities of his support when the need arises.
NET2 said British NET2, GIZ NET2, February Abadiao, NET2, Naka, and Saturn was no more. It's the American said, yeah, one time you do that. Now, on yet, and you and what. Titu abomai any inkura ewo na afia kasa na this na onwai na mikira na eshego set as MP bibia away obetu ni safari so for bibia yesu winiaba I with you. Inka Unya MP, recommendation. If you are very cooperation be may you ready say about
Thomas Andor, an official from the Department of Non-Profit Organizations at the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, said NGOs in Ghana are playing a dominant role in the development of citizens in Ghana, especially in the rural areas due to the pressure on the state to meet all basic needs of its citizens. He urged all hands on deck in contributing in any small way to the development of both economic and social conditions of people in the rural communities in particular and also in the country at large. Speaking to the media after the launch, the Public Relations Officer of Excel Trust Aid, Mrs. Emi Ayuvi, said education should be the bedrock of every nation since it is one of the surest ways to unlock the secrets of success. She indicated that plans are far advanced to support rural communities with economic empowerment through loans, supporting education, assisting farmers and women, providing employment opportunities, protection of people's rights, undertaking food security strategies, improving healthcare delivery, and providing potable water. She, however, urged all well-meaning Ghanaians to support this laudable move, so together help build Mother Ghana. The chief of Abompe, Osaberima Otibu Dakon IV, commended the founder of Excel Trust Aid, Mrs. Boachi, and her team for their good works and bringing such a project to the Abompe community and its environs.
Heart goes out for any NGO that focuses wholly on education. Because as I said, without education, there can be no development. Without education, we'll be in the Stone Age. Without education, we cannot innovate. Without education, we cannot prosper as a country. So any NGO that focuses wholly on education wins my heart and wins my admiration. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the truth. John F. Kennedy said that instead of thinking about what my country can do for me, and then I am going there, government, the first thing you have to ask yourself is, what can I do for my country? How can I help my people? Are my people what matters to me, or is my wealth that matters to me? Ladies and gentlemen, government into me here. So there's a need that at certain critical juncture, at certain critical point in time in our development, some selfless human beings should step in and carry some of the weight for all of us. And that's the reason why we have NGOs.
He urged all hands on deck in contributing in any small way to the development of both economic and social conditions of people in the rural communities in particular and also in the country at large. Speaking to the media after the launch, the Public Relations Officer of Excel Trust Aid, Mrs. Emi Ayuvi, said education should be the bedrock of every nation since it is one of the surest ways to unlock the secrets of success. She indicated that plans are far advanced to support rural communities with economic empowerment through loans, supporting education, assisting farmers and women, providing employment opportunities, protection of people's rights, undertaking food security strategies, improving healthcare delivery, and providing potable water. She, however, urged all well-meaning Ghanaians to support this laudable move, so together help build Mother Ghana.
Non-governmental organization is to help the needy in society as well as community development. You see, given the opportunity, everyone has the ability to excel. But if you leave it bare like that, you cannot attain your aim. And so collaboratively, we are coming to give support to the needy in society. We are here to empower women. You know, skill is one thing that will help you achieve your aim. So if you are empowered, you can fend for yourself, fend for your family, and then you become a national asset. So our aim is basically to give needs to children who need them, and then to help in community development as well as empower women in society.